Hey guys, it's Jessie with Omaha Mom Talks, and I have some exciting news. I am partnering with Edwards Auto Group, a local car dealership with locations in Nebraska and Iowa, for a fun partnership called Mom versus Machine. Every couple of weeks, I'm going to be test driving a new family vehicle and giving it the full mom review. We're taking it out of the showroom and into the hands of me and my family of 4. We're going to be seeing if it can handle car seats, snacks, strollers, backpacks, how easy it is to clean, how much room do we have, and I'll be giving you my honest thoughts. If you have a car that you have been eyeing, let me know. If you have any must-have amenities when looking for a car, share them with me and I'll be sure to give those a closer look. Follow along and see which car can actually keep up with our family chaos. Hey guys, welcome back to Omaha Mom Talks, the podcast where we chat all things motherhood and mental health. I'm your host, Jessie Gutierrez. I'm a wife, mom of 2, and mental health therapist that specializes in supporting women. Today's episode feels so timely. Women's sports are having a huge moment right now, well-deserved, of course. The visibility is up, viewership is up, and girls are finally seeing themselves reflected in super powerful ways. Here in Nebraska, volleyball has always been a huge sport to watch. Between Husker volleyball, Creighton volleyball, and the rise of the supernovas, young girls are watching women dominate on the court. Today, I am sitting down with Melanie Krings. She's the co-founder of SheSports, a brand new platform that is designed to empower the next generation of female athletes by giving them a space that's positive, safe, and inspiring. If you're a girl mom like me, or if you work or coach with young girls, or even if you just care about youth sports, this episode is for you. Let's get into it. All right, Melanie, welcome to Omaha Mom Talks.
Hi, thank you so much for having me today.
Yeah, I'm so excited to connect with you and chat about what you are building with SheSports.
Yes.
Before we jump into that chat, I just always love for our listeners to get to know you as a human. So share with us a little bit about yourself.
So I am originally from Columbus, Nebraska, so not too far down the road. Grew up on a family farm, was really involved in sports growing up through high school, and ended up in Omaha because I wanted to come to the big city to go to college at UNO.
Yeah.
So I spent 4 years there, got degrees in journalism and business,
Okay.
and then ended up, I couldn't pick one. So I'm like, we're just going to do both. And luckily, journalism classes and marketing classes, you can kind of double count for both programs.
Yeah.
So it worked out really well. After I graduated, it was 2008, so the recession, and was having a hard time finding a job because people were getting laid off more than they were getting hired.
Mm-hmm.
So ended up taking a position with the College of Business in their executive MBA program and ended up spending 15 years there.
Okay.
Not a career path I ever imagined, but it was such a blessing. The mission behind helping adults with leadership programs or getting their MBA degree, even while they're working full time. Like, I just really connected with the mission, got my MBA while I was there. And it was really exciting because eventually I was leading those programs and became the first female director of that program and also the youngest director. So I was only the third at that point in the history. I had always wanted to break glass ceilings in the business world, and little did I know that was actually going to happen at UNO. So, but then COVID happened, and that was a really, really stressful, hard time for the program because we were designed to be in person, and obviously the world shut down, and it just became too much. So I think it was at some point 2021, 22, left the program. Took some time off, did the mom thing, And then eventually now I am working again for a law firm doing all of their marketing, recruiting, talent development, culture, events, like a lot of different things that I really loved about my job at UNO, but now just for a for-profit. So it's a little different, but still really tied into the mission and kind of the passion areas career-wise that I loved about my previous career. So my husband Kelly and I live here in Omaha. We've got 4 kids.
Okay. How old are they?
Oh my gosh. If I can remember them all. Yeah. So my oldest is an 8th grader. He's 15.
Okay.
Then we've got a 6th grader who is 12, a 2nd grader who's, oh gosh, how old is she? 8. And then my little guy is 5. So
is he in school yet?
He will be at kindergarten next year.
My baby starts kindergarten next year.
Yeah, okay. So I keep telling all of my mom friends, I'm going to be a hot mess next year because my oldest baby will be a freshman in high school and my youngest baby will be a kindergartner.
A wild journey. Yes.
Pray for me, moms.
Yes. But exciting.
Yes,
right?
it is.
Just
very exciting.
Take on new challenges, learn new things.
Yeah.
Oh
so it's just mass chaos at our house all the time.
Okay. I love that. Yeah. Well, we'll have to chat more later because my husband's from Columbus, Nebraska.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, I love that connection.
There are always connections to Columbus some way, shape, or form. Yeah.
I agree. So we are here to chat about this new platform that you are building, SheSports, right? And so we're going to get into all of that. And I just want to start with the origin story. Take us back to the moment that you realized something like this was even needed. And then we'll go more into depth about like what it is, who it supports, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. So this really has been a labor of love. The idea itself came from my husband, Kelly, 2 years ago already.
Okay.
At the time he had just started his marketing company, which focuses on the financial industry. So we weren't quite ready to jump into yet another business. But it's always been on the back of his mind, my mind, and it really came about for 2 reasons. Number one, at the time, our daughter Olivia, she was a 5th grader. About midway through her 5th grade year, we got her a cell phone for her birthday. And we're both pretty good about like, I checked the messages all the time and looking at who are you friends with in some of these games. And you know what I mean? Like making sure profiles are locked down and those types of things to keep them as safe as possible. And then my husband, Kelly, he's very curious. Like, okay, you're on YouTube Shorts right now. Show me what you're watching. And while none of it was inappropriate in any way, shape, or form, it was just junk, right?
Yeah.
Like just not educational. Yes, the kids find it entertaining, like all the ASMR things where they're clicking on the water bottles and all the things. But so that's kind of when a light bulb turned on in his mind, like there's got to be better content out there for these girls.
Yeah.
Because we know they're scrolling on their phones all the time, but is there something more educational, something more empowering? So after doing some research, we're like, gosh, there really isn't all that much out there for this target audience. So that kind of,
there's a lot out there, but that's quality and that you feel safe.
And that's so true. Like there is a ton out there, but that we feel is educational or safe or age appropriate, right? So then kind of on the flip side of that, Kelly worked in Northwestern Mutual for a very long time, and he did a lot of NIL deals with volleyball players, our Husker volleyball players. So he got really familiar with that world of women's NIL, and after digging into it a little bit deeper, he's like, oh my gosh, these female athletes are so amazing, but they are getting a very small percentage of overall NIL deals. He's like, there's got to be a way that we can kind of take these 2 separate issues and figure out a way to bring them together and bridge the gap, both in female NIL, but then also provide better content for young girls. And thus the concept of SheSports was born.
I love that. So for those that are just hearing about SheSports for the first time, tell us, what is SheSports?
SheSports is a positive content platform for young girls. Ages 8 to 18 is really our target audience, but now that the app is live, we're really kind of finding that 10 to 12 up to maybe 16 is really sort of our bread and butter right now. But we also have a ton of parents and coaches who are on the app as well. And really the idea is that we hire female collegiate athletes. NIL, we sign them to NIL contracts, and they are providing all of the content into the app for us. And then the girls get into the free app and they consume the content. It's set up to have the look and feel of social media because they're already used to scrolling through YouTube Shorts, TikTok, whatever the case might be. But it's not social media. So this is really where the safe side of this is coming into play. There are no open messaging boards in any way, shape, or form because we did not want this to be a place where, number one, our athletes would be afraid to post about different topics. We wanted it to be safe for them as well. But number two, those open messaging boards, that's where social media can get so nasty and out of control. And that's not what we wanted for these girls. So look and feel of social media, but we are not social media. It's also moderated. So on the athlete side of things, we do a ton of training and coaching on here's the type of content we're looking for. Here are some things we don't want to see, like cussing, dressing inappropriately, talking about topics that just aren't suitable for girls of this age, right? And so far, they're doing an amazing job. But then on the other side, the young girls have the opportunity to ask our athletes questions and interact with them just a little bit through those questions. And we moderate all of the questions. So if it's coming from an inappropriate place, then the athletes will never see that question. So
protection for your college athletes.
Exactly. So the athletes love it because they are posting about topics that they would never put on social media. We really, when we recruited them to the platform, we talk about you're more than just your college sport that you're playing. Like, I think that's how most people like identify with you and know you from, but there's so much more to you. You're an academic, you're a daughter, you're a community member. What are the other parts of your lives that you're really passionate about? And share those with us too, right? So it's a way for these athletes to really open up and share things about themselves, the good and the bad, that maybe they normally wouldn't put out on social media.
Yeah, I love that. And as we were preparing for our chat today, I hadn't reflected, and I love it's so exciting to hear how it's twofold in supporting our young female athletes, our daughters, right? And then also supporting and molding those college athletes and giving them opportunities and a platform. And we know that female athletes don't always get those opportunities. And so are they getting paid for their time?
Yes, they are. Yes, they are 100% getting paid. But what I truly love about these young women is, again, when we were recruiting them, they're like, this is so great. Like, they're so appreciative. Thank you so much for this opportunity. But we're just really excited about giving back to the next generation. Like, we heard that time and time again. So we just feel so honored to be in a place to help them and give them, it's not a lot right now. We are a small business just getting started, but it's more than these girls are making at all. Like, I just want to give you a quick example. So Jenna Jorgensen is our UNL swimmer who is on the app right now. She is just absolutely amazing. 2-time All-American. She just won a Big Ten championship for her team over the weekend. So she's amazing. But guess how many NIL deals she had before SheSports came into the picture? None. Right? So it's just, if you think of Ava Martin, Creighton volleyball player, who's now a pro player with the Atlanta Vibe. Amazing young woman, and she had very few NIL deals before SheSports. So it just goes to show, like, you have these incredible athletes, and unless you are a Husker volleyball player, unless you're a really big name, maybe for Husker softball or Husker basketball, your NIL opportunities just are extremely limited. So we're trying to give, yes, we need some big names on the platform because that just helps draw the audience in. but we're really working hard to make sure that it's not all the big names, like girls who play soccer and maybe have never seen the field yet because of injuries. Like we're still
Okay.
getting those types of athletes into the app. We want it to be a place where our young girls can kind of see themselves, right?
Yes,
And
that
not all of our,
representation.
yes, exactly. And not all of our girls start every game. Not all of our
Right.
girls see the field every time, right?
Mhm.
So different players at the collegiate level who can share their experiences and advice with the young girls, and that the
Right.
young girls can kind of connect with different players in different ways.
Yeah, and all of those stories, each individual athlete, their story matters, right?
Yes.
And even just
Yes.
like you said, getting to the collegiate level is such an amazing feat
Yes.
and deserves to be celebrated and highlighted, and the journey that they went through and how that can inspire and impact so many young female athletes.
Yeah. And I just kind of think about back to my high school days. Like I loved volleyball.
Okay.
I don't think I was ever good enough to play at the collegiate level, but I just remember thinking, kind of reflecting on my experience and
Yeah.
my journey as an athlete, like there were a couple of other star players on our team, so the coach was very much focused on them.
Mhm.
And I was just like, I wonder what could have happened if somebody had said, "Hey, do you want to play college?" Right? And so what I love about this app is like we want girls to dream big,
Mhm.
and if they have questions or they think there's opportunities, like we want them to know there's opportunities out there for them, whether they think it's in their path or not. We want to expose them to different things that help them just dream big and feel empowered.
Yes, and just celebrating other female athletes. I think my kids are
Yes.
very little and we love going to like the Supernovas volleyball team, right? And they get to see
Yes.
these like fierce,
Yes.
strong athletes. And I
Yes.
love that for them, right?
Yeah.
Because I didn't have anything
Yeah.
that similar in
Yeah.
my little rural town.
And I just think too, like they're these fierce athletes, but they go through confidence issues just like our young girls do.
Yeah.
They go through setbacks just like our young girls do. So this is where sort of some of those harder conversations can come into play. We had a girl ask a question very recently, and it was all about, I love volleyball. I would love to play at the club level, but my mom and dad just can't afford it. Do you have any ideas on what other opportunities are out there for me to keep playing, right? So we just have girls going through life issues that our athletes can be there to support them, lift them up, help give them ideas on how to keep playing. And that's what I really love about the app.
I love that. Well, yeah, and we know that as a mom, like I can give my kids a message all day long, but hearing it from someone else sometimes is more of an influence, and hearing it certainly from someone that they look up to or aspire to be, that can be so influential.
Yeah. Our mom group jokes. We're like, okay, if you need somebody to tell, like, who can tell my kid this because they're not listening to me, right?
Yeah. As a therapist,
so-
I used to work with teens and I would hear that all the time. I don't work with teens anymore. The parents would be like, it's almost like you're telling her exactly what I was telling her. And I'm like, I know. And trust me, I don't have a special gift. It's just sometimes hearing it from someone else in a different way.
Yeah. And honestly, that's why we love that we have so many parents and coaches on the app too, because they can ask questions to the athletes. And that's sort of what the design was. Like if there's a topic that you're having a really hard time connecting with your daughter on, whatever it may be, ask the athletes a question about it, or find some posts where they're already talking about that particular topic and maybe watch the clips together with your daughter, and maybe it will open some conversation. But we want it to be obviously our girls are our target market first and foremost, but it's a great resource for parents and coaches as well.
Yeah, I love that. We did an episode on the podcast with a sports psychologist and we talked just all about youth sports in general. And I think that, parents and coaches are always very well intended, but a lot of times we miss the mark. And so just to have some thoughtful reflection and pausing of like how to approach certain topics, I think is so helpful.
Yeah, I agree. I just think back again to like my experience as a middle schooler and a high schooler, and I can't even imagine now like all the pressures that our young girls are feeling. Even I think of my second grader at age 8, like there's just such a need to like win and do your best all the time. And that's not reality. You're not
Yeah.
always going to win. You're going to have, you're going to miss the shots and things are not going to go the way you want. And just how much more they're internalizing that now, and all of the extra pressure because of social media and seeing all these perfect athletes out there, and knowing that, like, we know as moms that they're going through struggles and it's not all roses and sunshine, but the young girls don't realize that, right? So they think, oh my gosh, if I'm not perfect, I'm not good enough, whatever. And
right. And people internalize it, right? Like something's wrong with me, or I'm bad, or I'm different.
Yes,
and when
exactly.
you can recognize like, oh, other people have been through this, like it's not just me.
Yes.
That can be very
And that's the
healing.
way we encourage our athletes, like share stories about the injuries and the mental struggles and the confidence issues that you're facing, because we want these young girls to know that even at your level, you've had so much success as a collegiate athlete, you've gotten this far, but you're still struggling with these things. So we want them to see like it's okay to struggle with these things, but how can we share our experiences so that maybe you struggle just a little bit less, or you find some ways to deal with it because you're listening how the athletes have dealt with it, right?
Yeah, I love that. So let's talk about how you guys brought on Alexi Rodriguez and like the
Yes.
idea behind that. Nebraska Husker, former Nebraska Husker volleyball player, now
Yes.
pro volleyball player, and just kind of how that came about.
Yeah, it was Kelly's relationship with Lexi. He worked with her several years through the NIL deal Northwestern Mutual had with her, and just built a really great relationship. So when this idea kind of came up, he's like, we need a face to help drive this. And obviously, Lexi is a huge celebrity in the state of Nebraska, but more importantly, she just has the biggest heart, and she's the best role model. And it didn't take much convincing for us to get her on board. And she was a hugely important part of like setting up, what does this look like from the athlete side? Because we know how busy they are between classes and training and all the things they have to do as a collegiate athlete. So she was very thoughtful and helpful in helping us set up, well, how many times a week should our athletes be posting? What's too much? What can we ask them to do? What shouldn't we ask them to do? Because at the end of the day, we wanted this to be something that the athletes really enjoyed. We didn't want it to be a burden or something that they didn't look forward to doing. So her insight into all of that was so important.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, to protect their wellness, right? Her just having that lived experience of what's realistic and how do we set boundaries.
Yeah, exactly. And obviously Lexi, between her Olympic training and love volleyball, she's got a lot going on of her own, and she wrote a book and all these other things she's doing, right? So we're very protective of her time as well, and trying to use it very wisely when she is around.
Yeah, I love that. And I know that so many people look up to her. And so I think she, like you said, is the perfect person to be.
She definitely gets the most questions on the app. That's for sure.
I love it. What are you hearing from the feedback from the young girls that are on the app? What has been the response so far?
Yeah, the response has been honestly overwhelming. I think the first time we got an email from a parent just telling us about how much the app is helping their daughter with confidence issues. And we had one young girl reach out and say, this is just giving me more hope again. Like those were the moments when I'm like, oh my gosh, okay, this is really hard. It's so much work, but this is why we are doing this. Like, this is why this has to work, because it's just such a positive place for these young girls. So we're hearing a lot of great feedback.
What are your own kids saying?
Oh, well,
are they impressed with you?
Yeah, I don't know about that. They have been involved in some of the photo and video shoots with the athletes.
Fun.
So that was super exciting for them. We're really excited because next week we'll be kind of announcing our next group of softball and track and field athletes that'll be joining the platform. So a few weeks ago, we had a photo video shoot. And what we like to do is pair our college athlete with a middle school, high school, even some like fourth or fifth graders, our second grader participated, right? So what we're trying to show is the connection between the college athlete and our younger audience through these photos and videos. And so we had this shoot 2 weeks ago. We had a couple middle schoolers, a couple high schoolers, and then a fifth grader. And when the fifth grader saw the shoot room, like, because it's like pretty legit, okay? And her eyes just got really big. And afterwards, I had several moms reach out, like, just thank you so much for this opportunity. It was so much fun. They loved meeting the athletes. And I'm like, I just love like giving these young girls opportunities that they never would have had before. You know, and again, like, just like this could be a thing for you. Like, dream big. Like, who knows what can happen. Talking to some of the high school athletes about if you are going to go play in college, like, let us know. We'd love to have you on as a SheSports athlete someday, right? So just giving new opportunities to girls, opening doors that maybe they wouldn't have had before. It makes my heart happy to see them so happy.
Yeah, I love that. Well, and the context matters, right? Like, the representation matters. If you don't see yourself in something, or you don't even have an awareness that it exists, it limits you.
Yeah.
And so it really is like breaking barriers for young female athletes.
Yeah, it's just their smiles and these text messages just like tell us all. And again, this is with our app, and it's with these other experiences that we're able to provide them. It's just fun. It's super fun.
I love it. So how are you recruiting the college athletes?
Yeah, a lot of it's just research, a lot of online research. Again, we look at kind of a balance of, are they excelling in their sport? How are they doing academically? So maybe they're not an All-American for their sport, but they're an All-American academic, right? So looking at things like that, what kind of accolades do they have? We do look a little bit at their social media reach, because again, like for the bigger names, that does help us drive audience to the app and grow. Exactly. And then we just interview them and try to get to know them as a person, what's important to them, what other interests do they have outside of their sport. And we're just really looking for girls who they have that mentality that they want to give back. They want to spend time doing something where it's going to help and inspire and empower these young girls. And so far, we've been very, very lucky that we've gotten just such amazing role models into the app. They're doing a great job of posting content that, again, covers like some of the harder topics, but some fun things. They're just doing a really good job. And we're offering support and training if shooting videos of themselves talking all the time is not their bread and butter, which for some of them it's not. So we're just giving them resources to help them learn themselves, learn a new skill, right?
Yeah. What are some of the, I guess, just sports that are covered? And are there other sports that you're still looking to fill?
Yes. So right now we have volleyball, basketball, soccer, bowling, and swimming.
Okay.
And then next week is when we add our track and field and our track and field and softball. And softball is pretty huge in the state of Nebraska too, so we think that will be a pretty big one for us. But we're starting small. We want to grow big, and by big I mean more athletes from universities all across the country.
Okay, so I was going to ask if this is just Nebraska based.
Yeah, right now it is. Like, we're just like trying to figure things out operationally, like start small. And then once we feel like we have things really figured out here, the goal is next fall to start expanding into states like Iowa, Kansas, kind of some of the areas closer to us where we have connections. And then every every year we just keep adding and adding. But what I think is so exciting, there's so many female sports out there that just because we don't play it here in Nebraska,
Yes.
they're super popular on the East Coast or the West Coast.
Yes.
So there's a lot of opportunity to expose all of these young girls to different sports that we don't necessarily have here in Nebraska.
Yes.
And kind of vice versa, right? So the goal is to have representation of many different sports, of many different female athletes as we continue to grow this. So I don't know if you saw, but the Huskers offered their very first collegiate athletic scholarship to a flag football player.
No.
And I'm like, oh my gosh, we have to get her on the app. Like,
Yeah.
how cool is that, right?
That is so cool.
Yeah, the fact that women's flag football is a emerging sport, I just think it's so fun. Like, my second grader wants to play flag football so bad.
Okay.
So
I
I'm
love
like,
it.
okay, this is amazing. We need to get her on the platform.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that is so cool. So for just thinking as a mental health therapist, right? My focus is always on supporting mental health, and we know that that is huge for all of our kids, but especially our athletes who are a lot of pressure can be put
Yeah.
on them. How is mental health or wellness covered, or that sort of content approached in the
Yes.
app?
So we have two different categories. We have mental fitness and we have confidence. And they're really sort of one and the same in different ways, I think. But those two topics together account for 33% of all of the posts on the app so far. It is by far the largest category for us.
Okay.
The next highest is 17%, and that's behind the scenes, which is like a day in the life of these athletes, right? So I don't think we really imagined that was going to be the breakdown. Like, I think we thought the topics like the behind the scenes, the lifestyle, the more fun things were going to be more popular. But the questions that girls are asking, the topics that the athletes want to talk about, so much of it centers around confidence. How do you move on from a bad play? What is your pregame kind of mental strategy? Like, how do you approach that so that you can be in a good headspace before you walk into a game? How do you deal with a bad game afterwards, right? Like, so again, like just real world topics that apply to these young girls already. And they're things that our athletes are thinking about at the collegiate level all the time too. So it shockingly, maybe not shockingly, has become just a huge component of the app itself, and a topic that we are talking about in different ways on the app all the time.
I love hearing that the young girls are asking those questions, right? Because I think a lot of parents can get stuck on the skill level and, putting money into training and that is important if you want to excel in your sport and if you can afford it. But that mental health piece and that how do I get over a bad play, or how do I, set myself up for success, and just the mindset approach that a person who is literally living it can walk them through in a way that certainly like a therapist or a parent can't.
Yeah, exactly. And even just topics like you get injured and you have to sit out for a month, and how physically demanding that can be as you're trying to rehab the injury, but also then from the mental side, when you're not on the field, you're not on the court, or maybe you never will be again. And how much our young girls tie their identities to their sports. And when that sport is then gone, whether it's a short period of time or a longer period, like how mentally tough that can be on them, because it's their sport, it's their friend group, right? Like, and for them it's become their whole life. And so our athletes are really doing a great job about talking about these things on the app because they are living it right now.
And you are more than one thing. Like you said, as you're training them to prepare for what the content you're a daughter, a sister, a community member, you have interests beyond your sport. And that is important for young people to know, because it can be all all encompassing.
Like that is just a life skill that we want these young girls to start understanding at this age. Because I remember when I left UNO, and it was a really hard time for me because so much of my identity, I'd been there for 15 years. So much of my identity was tied into who I was when I worked at UNO. And it was really like, it was a mentally very tough time for me. And I'm like, if we can give these girls the tools and skills to help them, like this is not going to just end when their sport ends. Like there are other things in life that will happen where these skills can really help them.
Yes, absolutely. In the long-term vision, chat with me about that. I heard you talk a little bit about expanding to other states and universities. What other, just dreaming big and out loud, what other things do you see for SheSports?
Well, we're working really hard to think about what does this entire ecosystem look like for SheSports. So obviously at the center of everything is our app and the content that our athletes are producing and the questions that our young girls are asking. But we also are thinking about, okay, what types of sporting camps can we provide? With my background in leadership development, I'm super excited. I want to host like leadership camps for girls someday. Thinking about how can we offer more services to these girls to get more in-depth touch points with these athletes. So whether that's mentorship sessions or, like what can we do here to allow these girls to connect with athletes in different ways, both in person, virtually? What does that look like? So again, starting small, making sure the app itself, that we're growing that and we get that where it needs to be, and then really talking about what does the future hold for all of these other opportunities. Obviously, we have SheSports merchandise. Our podcast is launching very soon.
Okay. Do you have a date?
I think it's next week.
Okay.
So we'll find out, but it's very, very soon. So just all of these different ways that we can connect with the audiences, share our message about empowering young girls in sports and in life. It's not just sports, right?
Yeah.
So empowering them as much as we can and thinking about this entire ecosystem. And yeah, we already have members on our app from, 20 plus different states.
Oh, cool.
Which again, like we just didn't know what to expect, right?
Yeah.
And so I think a lot of it is like our 3 soccer players on the app right now, they're all from the Kansas City area.
Okay.
So there's a Kansas City following. Lexi spent time in California last summer in the Olympic trials that she's doing and trying to make the Olympics team. So there's a following in California. So there's all these little pockets, and I think a lot of it is driven like from where the athletes are from. But I think word is just spreading too, that there's this awesome resource out there. And that's what we're trying to do, is just let people know that we're a thing. And that if you have a daughter between the ages of 8 and 18 and you can give them access to our app, do it.
Yeah. For the moms that are listening, I heard you say SheSports app is free.
Yes,
right?
100%.
Yep. And they can download, is it like a profile that they have and then their daughter has a separate one?
Yep. Great question. So when you create a profile, if you're under the age of 12 in the state of Nebraska and many other states, you technically can't sign up your own profile.
Okay.
So like when I signed up under my own profile, and then there's a way in your profile section to add your daughter.
Okay.
Yep. And then she can, and then I log in on her phone or her iPad and we switch it to her profile so that she always has access. But we have so many girls over the age of 12 that obviously they don't need to go through that extra step.
Okay.
But yeah, if your daughter is under the age of 12 because of privacy laws and those types of things, protecting young kids on the internet.
It's wild out there.
It is. It is.
Even things that you think are safe, right? Like YouTube Kids or putting parameters on Netflix, like things pop up and it's scary.
Yeah. And there's just, that's why parents have to be so vigilant. But it's, I think, a relief for parents to know that when their daughters are on SheSports, they truly don't have to worry about
Yes,
that.
such a relief. Yes. And for those moms that are listening and thinking, how would this app benefit my child? What would you
Mhm.
tell them?
I just think our athletes are such amazing role models. And I can say that all day, but like you truly need to just get on the app and see for yourselves. But they're showing different sides of them. They're talking about spirituality, academics, training, their sports, nutrition. There's just such a wide variety of topics that your daughter can learn more about. And the content, some of it's fun, some of it goes a little bit deeper, so they can kind of figure out which athletes am I connecting to, which topics are really interesting to me, and then they can search and go to those topics through the app. So
Yeah.
it's just such a safe, inspirational, motivational space for them, that it's just working so well. Like
Yeah.
this vision we had in our minds of what could this be for these young girls, I think it's probably even better than we thought.
Which I really think speaks to the need, right? The
Oh,
need
yeah.
for the older athletes and the younger athletes.
Yeah, absolutely. When we first started the app, I think we were hoping to have maybe 1,000 members. Like we launched in early November. I think we were hoping to have 1,000 members by like June or something. Like we set the bar pretty low because we'd never built an app before,
Yeah.
had no idea what this would look like. And we had 1,000 members in the first week or two. So it's
Wow.
grown so much faster. And again, I like attributing it back to there's just nothing out there like this for these young girls where they can have these amazing role models to learn from.
And I just think of I don't consider myself like a huge sports fan, but we go to all the games for all, Creighton Huskers. I like being there, but my favorite thing is learning their history and their backstory.
Yes.
And I don't know if that's like the mental health therapist in me or just like the mom in me, but that's my favorite part is like learning. And sometimes at the games, they'll do like a little video about a certain player's history. And that's where I connect with them. And that's when I go follow that player on social media. And then I'm rooting for her or him and I'm invested in them and I care more. And so I think this ability for us all to have a little bit more access to those players and learn more about their story and their journey is awesome all around the board.
When we ask our athletes to set up their profile in the app, they are supposed to download like 4 or 5 very short videos about themselves. And we're like, think about things that you can share about yourself that this audience wouldn't see anywhere if they just Googled your name or they went to your profile with your university. So we're trying to push our athletes to share different things about yourself. All of the content on our app is exclusive to SheSports. So it's not like our athletes are creating a video and downloading it into the app and then also sharing it on TikTok or Instagram. Like it is exclusive to SheSports. So if you want to see the content, you have to get that free profile. I think it's so cool though. We had a younger sibling of one of my son's basketball player friends. They went to a women's Husker basketball game. Okay. And they, through some connections, got to go down onto the court afterwards or something, I guess. And the daughter goes, "Look, Mom, she's on SheSports." And it was Britt Prince.
Aww.
And I'm just like, so we tell our athletes, like, we're working really hard to try to elevate their profiles too and expose them to a new audience that maybe if they're not a basketball player, that they still see Britt Prince, right? And learn to recognize her. And I'm like, like that to me too is just like very telling of like, okay, this is working, right?
Yes.
And obviously Britt is a pretty recognizable face, but I think the little sibling is only like a 4th grader or something. So no social media or anything yet. So not quite as exposed to who Britt might be, right? So I'm like, good. Like that's like we try to make this very beneficial on both sides. Like to the athlete, but also to the young girls.
Yeah, I love it. Okay, we're gonna do a rapid fire question. I didn't prepare you for this, but I know you can handle it.
Okay.
This is our first time meeting, but I love your energy, so I know you can handle it. So I'm just going to ask you a question and just share what comes to
Okay.
mind. Don't overthink
All right.
it.
I'm
Okay.
ready. We do this with our athletes too.
You do?
And we tell them the same thing. So I'm going to take that advice.
Yeah.
Yes.
Get
Okay.
out of your head and just go with it. Okay. One word that describes SheSports.
Empowering.
Love it. One female athlete every girl should know.
Lexi Rodriguez.
Advice to girls who are afraid to take up space.
Just be yourself and don't be afraid to make a seat at the table, whatever that looks like for you. Our athletes, some of them had harder paths, and I know this is not a one-word answer, but some of them had harder paths to get to that collegiate level, and it takes persistence and hard work, and just don't ever give up. Whatever your dream is, do not give up and keep working hard for it.
I love it. And this one is not a one-word answer either. A piece of advice that you would give to parents that have kids in sports.
Being a parent with I can speak to this through so much personal experience. Like, it's so stressful, right? Like, you want your kid to get all the playing time, but some kids are just a little more naturally gifted and skilled, or they put in the extra work. Like, it can be really hard to bite your tongue and not say all of the things that you want to say. And this is something truly that I have had to learn.
Mm-hmm.
So my husband and I were both uber competitive people, right? Very competitive. And our oldest son, just sometimes we think sports is more of just a fun thing for him, like a social thing. Like, he can be competitive, but doesn't always want to put in the extra work, right? And so learning to have hard conversations about expectations, and he's getting ready for high school next year. What is this going to look like if you don't put in any more extra work? And just not always pointing out the things that they should be working on, but instead being more positive, truly just being their parent in their corner versus their coach. That is something that I have had to really learn how to do, and I'm still not very great at it, but I can,
the awareness is
there. The awareness is there for
step.
sure. So it's just so hard. So and again, with social media and things like that now, it's become harder than ever, I think. So being a big supporter of your kiddos as they are going through sports, and keeping in mind such a small percentage actually go on to play college athletics. So how can you just keep it fun and keep them growing and enjoying the game and not burning themselves out?
Yeah, because there's so many life skills that are picked up through sports that can be applied to their future if they do not go on.
Yeah,
with their
I am
sport.
a huge advocate of kids playing sports, and not only that, kids playing multiple sports. So my 6th grader, she really wants to quit basketball and just focus on volleyball, but I won't let her, because different coaches, different teammates, different skills, different muscles in your body that you're using all the time, right? And actually there are a lot of college coaches who will tell you they want to see the multi-sport athletes, even though most won't play multi-sports at the collegiate level, but they want to see the multi-sport athletes. So I think it's just important to keep them playing as many different sports for as long as you can.
Yes, agreed. Well, Melanie, I just want to thank you so much for taking the time to join us here on Omaha Mom Talks. I love what you guys are building, not just for our younger athletes, but also for our college athletes. And I'm so excited to see what happens and what comes of the ripple effect, right?
Yes.
What this brings for
and just
athletes.
Thank you so much for having me here today to help us spread this message. Obviously, we have a lot of work to do yet, but we're just so encouraged by all of the feedback that we're getting, by how fast the app itself has grown, by how much support we're getting from parents, coaches, community members. We know we're on to something really big here. Youth sports is never going to go away. It's never going to get less competitive or less stressful or less intense. But we're just here to do what we can to support these young girls and make sure that they know that at the end of the day, they need to dream big, that they're not alone, and that they have a lot of support. And we're just excited to see where this goes.
Yes. So if folks want to learn more about SheSports, where are all the places that they can find you guys and connect?
So obviously they can get the app itself from the Apple or Google app stores. And again, it's free, which we want this to be accessible to all young girls.
Yes.
Or they can go to our website, shesports.com, and learn a little bit more about Lexi and the mission behind what we're trying to do here. If they want to buy merch, they can get it there. Great resource. Yeah, we're on Instagram, all of the major social media outlets for sure.
And then a new podcast coming.
Yes,
soon.
coming very soon. Yes,
maybe next week.
Maybe next week. Yeah, we're so grateful for our partnership with Hurrdat Sports and the Hurrdat team in helping make this a reality. And so Macy Bosinger is leading our podcast efforts.
Okay.
And so she's talking with a lot of collegiate athletes. So you'll see some big names in the first several podcasts, but then also we have a sports psychologist on one of them. Right. We brought in a nutritionist for taping last week. So just talking about all the different areas of being an athlete and what that looks like and how we can support these young girls.
Awesome. Well, thank you again for joining us. I greatly appreciate it. For those that are listening, if you have young daughters, if you are coaching female athletes, or if you just care about athletes in general, please go download SheSports, check it out, and let us know what you think of it, right? That feedback is so valuable.
Yes, we love the feedback. And if there are athletes that you want to see on the app or new sports or whatever your feedback might be, there's ways to email us through the website. Like, let us know. And we love that feedback.
Perfect. Well, thank you guys for listening to this episode of Omaha Mom Talks. If you've enjoyed this episode, please like and leave a comment. It helps us grow and reach more folks. And also, please take good care of yourselves, moms. We know this is just one subject in your big life that you are living, and I always want to encourage you to take care of you first. That allows you to take care of all the humans that depend on you. And until next time, bye.